The house was in complete darkness, except for a single candle in the window. The flame seemed to draw me in, like a moth. I approached cautiously and knocked on the door. The white pizza boxes were warm. I could smell the garlic coming off of it in waves. We were a new pizza joint, and although the owner didn't specify it on her ads, she loved to use garlic in all of her recipes, from the sauce to the crust to the butter sauce that topped it all. When no one came to the door, I knocked again, hoping this wasn't a wasted trip. I only get paid if the client actually accepted the pizza. This time, a voice from inside said, "Come in." I opened up the door, stepping into the darkened house. It was just a little flat level in the suburbs, but something about it felt wrong. "Hello?" The door slammed shut behind me. I jumped and spun around, deciding right then and there that this was a pizza I would just bite the bullet on and accept that I wouldn't be getting paid. I turned to leave, but a figure appeared in front of me, blocking my escape. He was tall and skinny, so pale that I could see the blue veins that ran through his skin. "Hey, this isn't cool," I told him. "Just whatever funny prank you're trying to pull, scrap it." "This is no prank," said the man, stepping forward. He was wearing a heavy hoodie and black jeans, as though even the wan light of that one candle was too much for his skin to handle. "This is my dinner." I held up the pizza box. "Dinner?" "That was just a means of delivery," said the man. He opened his mouth, and fangs slipped out of his gums. They were large, sharp, and ready to sink into meat. My meat. Fear shot through me. I could barely breathe. Taking a step backward, the small of my back bumped into the end table. My fingers curled, flexing against the cardboard box that I was holding. The heady, savory scent of pizza flooded up from the gap in the lid when my fingers dug in too tightly. The man, vampire, froze. His eyes went wide. There were no pupils within them to change, but he took a half step backwards. He stared at the box in my hands as though it were a knife, sharp and curved. That was my way out. The pizza box was heavy in my hands. I took a step forward and lifted it up. "Get out of the way! I'm leaving here, and I'm leaving now!" The creature's eyes followed the box in my hands. He seemed captivated by it. I took a step towards him and could see every muscle in his body pulled tight. He bared his fangs again and hissed at me, but there was an undeniable tremble in the tone this time around. It was clear that he was scared. I used one hand to lift up the top of the box. The scent came out full force. Nothing but garlic and onions and the thick grease of pepperoni. The vampire flung an arm up over his face and pulled even further away from me, trying to crowd against the wall. I managed to step past him and get near the door. I fumbled for the handle with one hand, balancing the pizza box with the other. "No," he hissed. "No!" The lock came undone, and I pushed the door open. The hinges creaked. I made a step towards the opening, and the vampire lunged at me with a hiss. At the same time, I threw the box forward with all of my might. The pizza hit the vampire full force in the face. Cheese and sauce clung to him as he screamed, even when the box hit the floor. The garlic was so heavy in the toppings and in the sauce mixture that it caused the vampire's flesh to blister up. He staggered backwards, ripping at his own face. Claws split through his skin, down his cheeks, over his lips. He dug at his own eyes, ripping bloody wounds into his own flesh. Thick, molten cheese dripped onto the floor. Blood mixed with the pizza sauce. The blisters spread down the curve of his throat and then over his neck, before finally vanishing under his shirt. I was captivated by the sight, but only for a moment. Then reality snapped back into place, and I turned, spinning on one foot and slamming myself through the front door. My shoes thundered over the rickety front porch. The car was so close to me. I could hear the vampire howling and staggering about inside. He was so frantic trying to get the sauce off his flesh, he ended up throwing himself straight out the window. The crash of glass made my heart skip a beat. I ripped open the driver's side door and threw myself inside, starting the engine as fast as I could. Glancing over at the porch, I was met with the sight of the vampire writhing on the ground in pain. Smoke was coming off his body as he howled and thrashed about. Lights were coming on all along the street, nosy people hoping to see what was going on. Not wanting to get any more involved in this mess than I already was, I slammed the car into reverse, backed out of the driveway, and split rubber in my hurry to get away from this house and the crazy vampire that lived there. And you know what? I might not have gotten paid for the job, but I definitely had a greater appreciation for the house recipe pizza from then on out.